Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and I'm going to explain The Shadow in about a minute. The Shadow's creation began in 1930 by several key people. Pulp magazines were all the rage for nerds in the 30s, right in the beginning of the Great Depression. For just a penny, you could buy a pulp magazine with several short stories and quick sketches built into your favorite genre, horror, romance, or the ever-popular detective stories. Street and Smith Publications was one of these pulp manufacturers, and they wanted to advertise their detective story magazine on the most popular free medium in the world at the time, radio. They hired an advertising agency, Ruthroff and Ryan, to adapt the magazine's older stories into radio dramas. The ad agency felt that there had to be a narrator to segue into the stories and to set the mood of the mystery with a sinister voice. David Chrisman was the employee who came up with the name The Shadow, and his debut was on July 31st of 1930. James Lurks was the first voice actor to portray the Shadow. Although the program was designed to increase the sales of Detective Story magazine, kids only remember the stories as the Shadow Detective magazine. Word got back to the owners of Street and Smith Publications, and they immediately worked to capitalize on this. The Shadow character, though not created by Street and Smith, was their intellectual property, so they created the pen name Maxwell Grant so that they could claim sole ownership of all the stories written about the Shadow, and hired writer Walter B. Gibson to fill that role and create the character from scratch. Gibson wrote 200-plus pages of the Shadow stories twice a month for the next 20 years, beginning in Shadow Magazine No. 1 in 1931. Gibson was also a Polish stage magician who believed that psychic powers were real. Thus, he made the character a mysterious vigilante who was an expert detective who had the power to cloud men's minds so as to become invisible to them. His other psychic powers were created as needed, but usually involved hypnosis, aided by his ruby ring, that tricked people into obeying him and revealing secrets. He also keeps a growing number of agents around the globe who provide him with information and resources. He is a weapons and martial arts expert, but his signature tools of the trade are twin Colt 45s. He is one of the oldest characters called Superhero long before comic book superheroes even existed, and he's had many different origins depending on who's writing his character. He's also had numerous identities, but two of the most famous identities are Lamont Cranston and Kent Allard. The weed of crime bears bitter fruit, and that's The Shadow in about a minute.